Alabama Republican Congressman Mo Brooks. He's one of the chairs of Cruz's campaign in Alabama. Congressman, thank you for joining us. Well, let me just ask you that. Ted Cruz wants a one-on-one shot at Donald Trump. Ted Cruz won a couple of states last night. Rubio did get that win in Minnesota, but nowhere else. Is it time for Marco Rubio to get out of this race?
Well, certainly if John Kasich or Ben Carson get out, that helps the anti-Trump forces coalesce behind Marco Rubio or Ted Cruz. If Marco Rubio also gets out, Ted Cruz will be the Republican nominee. I want to, if I might take a minute, I want to focus on an entirely different perspective from what I've been hearing last night on the major networks and also this morning. And by way of background, I've been a student of public policy and political science for 4 decades. I've held elected office as a Republican for 3 decades. I've been to Republican national conventions. Ted Cruz had a really good night last night in that he won his home state, and he also won bonuses of Oklahoma and Alaska. Marco Rubio did what he needed to do to stay in the race, having won Minnesota. The big loser last night, contrary to what you're seeing everywhere else, was Donald Trump. Now, maybe he doesn't realize it. Maybe the people in the mainstream media don't realize it yet, but let me explain what I mean. Donald Trump's Achilles heel was badly exposed last night. I think you're going to see that play out over the next few weeks. Further, the key is not how many states you win. That's like scoring a touchdown. That's a good thing. The key is how many delegates you get. And Donald Trump is not getting the delegates he needs to win a first ballot fight at the Republican National Convention. Now, there are 2 types of caucuses or primaries. One is open, where anybody can vote. In Alabama, we had Democrats voting in the Republican primary to help elect Donald Trump because they thought he was weaker. Another type is closed primaries, where only Republican voters can vote. And Republican voters want a nominee who best represents their party and their wishes for America, someone with honor, someone with dignity, someone who shares our moral values and the public policies that are necessary to make us a better country. And with Donald Trump, he has now lost 80%, 4 out of 5. Of the closed primary states where Republican voters are choosing the Republican nominee. Upcoming, we have over 20 states that are closed. If Donald Trump keeps that losing record, only winning 1 out of 5, with over 1,000 delegates being distributed in these upcoming 20 closed primary and caucus states, Donald Trump's in a world of trouble.
You're putting this on the open primary, on crossover voting, but let's take a look at your home state in the heart of the Deep South, a state with a very heavy evangelical population, a state that demographically and culturally is exactly the kind of state that Ted Cruz has been targeting in this campaign. Your state, Alabama, last night went by a more than 2-to-1 margin. Donald Trump, there it is, Donald Trump 43%, Ted Cruz 21%, Rubio 19%. Add Cruz and Rubio together, you still don't get Trump's number. You can't put that all on mischievous Democrats crossing over.
No, I'm not talking about mischievous Democrats. I'm talking about non-Republicans. If we had been a closed primary state where only Republican voters had been allowed to vote, then I think a much different result. Now, how do I know that? I know that from the 5 states. You've got Iowa, Alaska, Minnesota, Oklahoma that are closed, only Republicans voting, and Donald Trump has lost. In fact, in Minnesota, he came in 3rd. That's a big loss for Donald Trump. And so we can talk about Alabama if we wish. We can talk about other states if we wish. But I think the real key that a lot of people are missing is the dynamics of a closed primary system versus an open primary system, and how we've got 20-plus states upcoming that are closed. And Donald Trump's track record with closed primaries has been very bad, winning just 20%, while other people have won 80%, and upcoming those 20 states account for over 1,000 delegates. So Donald Trump, he's got some real challenges. Those people who think that it's Donald Trump's to win or lose right now, I disagree. I think it's very much a toss-up, and quite frankly, if Ben Carson and John Kasich drop out and it's down to 3 candidates, Donald Trump is the likely loser in that he has alienated so many people in Republican Party ranks through his callous insults and other things that he has done. It's going to be very hard for him to get a single Rubio delegate or Kasich delegate or Cruz delegate to vote for him at the Republican National Convention, and that's all that counts. You got to get a majority of those delegates in Cleveland.
All right, Congressman Mo Brooks from Alabama, thanks for the time. Appreciate it.